Hi and welcome to this new video, and this video is lesson 4 of the flight training series, and in this video we're going to look at flying in rate mode. So we've been doing some angle mode flying, and now we're going to transition to how you fly in rate mode and what you need to be aware of in order to be able to fly in rate mode. We're going to change the drone over to fly in rate mode, and I'm also going to introduce you to a series of beginner tracks that you can use to build your skills. And that's where we're going to start. So we're going to click single player. We're going to use the Oblivion we were using before. And then when we come into our track list here, I've got this set to all tracks in any class with no checkboxes and no search terms. So what we see on our track list here is 1,000 plus tracks. And what we want to look at is just the beginner tracks. So I've got this on all tracks. We're just going to go here and select beginner. And this is now showing beginner tracks, or tracks that people have categorized when they were added to our database as suitable for a beginner. Now if you go to the bottom of this list, you'll see these level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. And these were all created by a single track editor or track maker, which is Boner FPV, and he made these tracks to be progressively more difficult to fly. So level 1 pylons is obviously the easiest, and then they get harder and harder and harder, and they introduce new elements and new things to fly as you go from one track to the next, and they are very much a progressive set of tracks. So you learn how to fly the first one, and then you should be ready to learn how to fly the second one, and so on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make these easy to find for us so that we can work through this. So we're just going to heart them like this. So they're now all favorited. So I've marked those, you can see on the key up here, favorite track. So they're now all favorited. So now if I tick this box here, favorite, we'll now see these tracks. It doesn't matter what settings I have over here now. Once you tick this box here, you see your favorite tracks. So these will be easy for us to find now, and we're just going to drop into level 1 pylons. So I'm just going to power up my transmitter.
Welcome to Tango 2. Switch warning.
Okay, so that's my transmitter powered up. And we'll click fly here on level 1, and we're in the scene. We'll press R to reset, and we're on the start grid. And I'm just going to go into angle mode initially. So I'm in rate at the moment, so I'm just going to click up here on the mode, go to angle. I'm just going to check my camera angle here as well. 20 degrees. Okay, so that should be fine. And I'm just going to fly around this pylons track just to show you what this looks like. And obviously we're in angle mode. It's all left turns, this track, so you don't need to fly left and right, it's just left turns. And a lot of the track is fairly straight, it's just very, very gentle turns. And then there are tighter sections where you have to turn a little bit tighter here towards the end. And then we come through these last two, and then this big kind of force field thing here, this is a recharge gate, and it also fixes prop damage if you've got any prop damage. So if you're using, if you're actually starting a race and flying through these pylons and you're in single class mode and you get prop damage, then this will fix it. If you fly through this, we'll fix the prop damage for you, and it will also recharge your battery. So if your battery's getting low, you can fly through this and it will recharge your battery for you. Okay, so that's the track. We're just going to switch to rate mode now. So I'm just clicking up here on mode again to get to rate mode. Still at 20 degrees. And I'm just going to show you that if you're sat on the start grid in rate mode and you just open the throttle, because the quad is already perfectly level, as you pop up, you can see that you just kind of drift a little bit, but it's very similar to being in angle mode. And if I just turn my sticks on here with the M key so you can see what's going on, you can see this is really, really similar to how it flew when we were in angle mode. The difference is that in rate mode, when you push the quad forwards to fly forwards, and then recenter your stick, it's not going to level out. It's going to stay leant forward as much as you push the stick. So for example, if I push right forward like this, you can see when I let go of the stick it stays there, and I've got to open the throttle quite a lot to maintain my height. And similarly, if I'm flying along and I just roll to the right, then it's going to roll over to the right, and I'm going to have to increase my throttle to stay out of the ground. Okay. So we don't have that automatic levelling out of the quad anymore, which means we've got to fly the quad all the time. We can't let go of the sticks and have auto levelling just sort things out for us anymore. We now have to fly the quad all the time. So let's just dump this on the ground here. Press R to reset. And I'm just going to fly in rate mode now around this track. Now we've done this in the previous videos with a simpler track with pylons in angle mode, and the only difference now is that on our right stick here we're going to have to control the pitch of the quad, how much it pitches forward, and we may have to pull back sometimes. We may have to push forward a little bit, pull back a little bit, just to keep our quad level. And on our throttle stick we're going to have to control the throttle to make sure that we don't fly into the ground. Similarly, when we bank, we can't just let go of the sticks and have the quad level out. We've actually got to put in the opposite control to level out again. So we are effectively in control of the attitude of the quad all the time. So we're having to really control and fly the quad now, rather than it leveling itself and giving us a break from having to fly it effectively. So here we go. Let's just throttle up and we'll get into ground effect like so, and then I'm just going to give a little nudge forward like that and then let go. So this is like angle mode at the moment, in that I have actually let go of the stick, but it's stayed leant forward, the quad, and I'm just going to coordinate my sticks like we did before, but I have actually got to roll back out. So if I put in some left yaw and left roll to come around this corner, I've actually got to put in right roll to level off. And I'm actually just pulling back on the stick occasionally, pulling the nose up to slow myself down. So I can pull the nose up to slow myself down and I'll go backwards, or I can push the nose forward and I'll go forwards. So we have this control all the time that we need to maintain. We can let go of the sticks, so I've let go of the sticks now, I'm not touching them and it will carry on flying, but of course when we want to do our turns we've got to start moving our sticks together and then levelling out, and then push the sticks together to the left and then level out again in order to fly around the course. And that's the key really, is that whatever movement you put in, whatever roll you put in on the quad, you're going to have to roll it back to level afterwards. And we don't tend to do that on yaw. So when we do a turn like this slightly sharper one here, we'll push both sticks to the left to make the turn. But once we're around the turn, I'm just using roll to level back out. And again, when we get down here to this slightly more tighter turn, we're going to both sticks to the left, level out, then both sticks quite strongly to the left, a bit more throttle, and then level out. So I'm having to do the leveling of the quad each time. And that's really the main difference with rate mode. And if you want to slow down, you've got to pull back on the stick like that, and you can slow down. And then if you want to speed up, you can push forward on the stick to push the nose of the quad down. So as we're flying forwards here, I can pull back slightly on the stick, pull the nose up, and it will slow down, and I can push forward and it will speed up. And that's really what we want to practice as we're flying around this pylons course. We don't want to just go faster and faster and faster and faster and then just get out of control. If you think you're going a bit too fast, then just level out on the straight section here, just level out like this, and then just pull back a bit and the quad will slow down. And don't let it stop and go backwards, So we're just nudging it forwards now again, just to get going again. Because when you pull the nose up, you can get into a situation where you go backwards, which can be quite disorientating. So you don't want to get into that. You want to always try and keep the quad moving forwards. Even if you pull back to slow down, as you see yourself arresting, just push forward again, just to get going. And again, always coordinated on the sticks, so yaw and roll to the left when we are turning left. So yaw and roll to the left, and then just roll to roll it out. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to move on from this track to the next track in the series, because I want to introduce height control in this lesson. So we're going to go to change track, and we're going to do level 2 gates. So we're just going to load that one in, press R to reset, and you can see now that the pylons that we had before around our track have now been replaced with gates. And this means we've now got to get into some serious height control, because we need to fly through the gates. We can't just fly over them, and we don't want to hit them either. So again, we can pop the quad up, and then just very gently nudge it forwards. We've only got 20 degrees camera angle again, and just fly really slowly. If you feel you're going too fast, just bring the nose back a bit. If you're too slow, just push the nose forward a little bit, and just control your height with the throttle. Just, as you can see, I'm hardly moving the sticks. It's very, very gentle movements to do this, and we just want to pass through the gates around the whole track. So again, coordinated turns, push the sticks together, don't roll too much. Just use the throttle to keep the quad out of the ground. Bit of roll. If you need to slow down, just bring the nose up a little bit, and then push forward again to get going, and just really concentrate on controlling the quad. So it's not about how fast you can go through these hoops at this stage in your flying. It's more about, can you control the quad? Can you slow it down? Can you control its height? Can you coordinate your turns? Can you level it out after each turn? It's all about learning the control of the quad, controlling your speed, and making sure that at all times you're fully in control of where it's going and how it's moving through these various gates, and all at just 20 degrees camera angle, so we're not having to go too fast, we're not pushing the nose way down in order to fly. And then when we're done, we can come over the start grid, just plonk it down. There we go. And that's it for lesson 4, and I'll see you on the next video.